37-3. 37-3. Commanders with the late field goal. Is that right? It was 37-0.
Yeah.
Late field goal with 50 seconds left to get on the board. But Buffalo with a dominant win against the Washington Commanders. Sam Howell gets sacked 9 times and picked off 4 times. I'm going to make a statement here.
Yeah.
I don't think the Commanders' offensive line was all that bad. They weren't great. But the 9 sacks were more about Buffalo and Sam Howell. But Bills make a statement here, and their defense has played real well this year.
It has, yeah. Sam Howell takes some terrible sacks, which has always been a thing. It's always been a feature of his game. His sack rate in college is like off the charts insane for a guy as good as he is. He just takes some horrific sacks, and then he's got that little bit of YOLO to his play, in terms of where he's passing the ball. I mean, you saw the good side of that last week, the week before, where he put that ball where only Terry McLaurin could get it.
Denver, 2 weeks
into
ago.
kind of double, triple coverage, but well placed into that coverage, right?
Yes.
Not just a heave and into players and hope his guy gets it. Like, it was a well-placed pass into aggressive coverage, tight window, but hit it. The flip side of that is when you don't get it right and you just look like you're putting the ball in harm's way with ridiculous regularity. Now, look, okay, there's 4 interceptions, so it's bad, right? But like one of those interceptions, it's not the worst pass in the world. It was a really, really good play by the linebacker to doing exactly what you hear talk about sometimes, of like an athletic play to sort of get depth, squeeze the window shut, and then picks it off like full extension to make sure he comes down with it. That's not the worst pass in the world. Other ones, bad. But then when you combine that with the taking sacks thing, now you've got just an offense that isn't going to function anymore, right? You can't do both those things at the same time. You can't really do either one of them, but 2 of them combined is catastrophic.
So I want to describe the Bills' defense and how I think their coverage unit deserves a ton of the credit for the 9 sacks. First off, Terrell Bernard had that interception at linebacker. Yeah, he also had a sack on a blitz. Terrell Bernard, one of the underrated stories for Buffalo was them moving on. It was a big story for Buffalo. Moving on from Tremaine Edmonds this offseason at linebacker, they had like a 3-way battle for starting linebacker opposite Matt Milano. Terrell Bernard was fantastic in this game. I think he had a fumble recovery too, if those don't matter. But great interception, had a sack.
Those don't matter.
Those don't matter, no. Bernard was a 2022 third-round pick out of Baylor, and he was already a pretty good run defender last year, only 111 snaps. But still fantastic against the run. I mean, he just knifes in and gets into running lanes, finishes plays, but he had the great interception in this game as well and was just all over the place. So just something to keep an eye on for Buffalo is the linebacker play. Bernard stepped up. But I tried to go through all 9 of those Sam Howell sacks. Some of the notes. I mean, the Bills were just playing tight man coverage. Nobody's open. And Sam Howell's not the type of guy who's just going to like quickly say no to a progression and get to the next one and get to the check down. So as soon as you take away read 1 and read 2 from Sam Howell, it's like a sack opportunity here. So the Bills defense did a great job I'm not taking anything away from the Bills pass rush, but this is one of those instant reaction. 9 sacks, offensive line's trash, Bills defensive front's great. And there were certainly some plays in there. Leonard Floyd had an elite pass rush in there. There were some good ones, but so many of them. I mean, there's an RPO where it's a running play, right? He holds the ball, doesn't throw it, scrambles out, gets sacked. There's the extra rusher on a blitz. There's Sam Howell literally just runs into Gregory Rousseau on a well-blocked play. So the Bills were taking away those first couple reads, tight man coverage, and then that allowed the pass rush to get home.
I mean, even if you just look at the numbers for the offensive line, the Washington blockers, forget the offensive line, all of the Washington blockers combined allowed 11 total pressures, but Sam Howell sacked 9 times. Now, either, and there's some of this, every one of those pressures turned into a sack, which is partly a Sam Howell problem in and of itself, or Sam Howell personally is contributing quite heavily to those sacks by creating pressure and sacks that aren't there otherwise. Either way, the quarterback is owning a pretty significant portion of that problematic end result.
So just to wrap up that point, the interceptions some of them were pretty rough from Howell as well, including a pick 6 by A.J. Epinesa, throws it right to him. Epinesa with a little stiff arm and takes it to the house. I mean, it's just dominant from Buffalo's perspective. So many negative plays that they forced. On the other side, one of the matchups I was looking forward to was the Bills' offensive line. Were they going to handle Washington's defensive line, which was, a lot of, terrorizing the Cardinals in week 1 and the Broncos in week 2. And they got nothing. Josh Allen, I don't think he got hit in this game. They didn't, at least the Bills didn't allow a hit. Their pass blocking across the board was good against Chase Young and Montez Sweat and all the Daron Payne and Washington's defensive front. It was really good. Buffalo's pass protection. So impressed there. Josh Allen hits Gabe Davis for a bomb for their, all they really needed as far as a big play offensively. But Josh Allen did YOLO a couple in there, but didn't matter because just a dominant performance for the Bills.
Yeah, it felt generally like we were getting the good version of Josh Allen again, but the couple of YOLOs he had were pretty rough. Just didn't cost him anything.
One was on 3rd and 20. We did somebody. I don't know if we got a tweet or an email. I think somebody emailed us during the game or something. The one that he threw, they're up 16-0, and it basically was an arm punt. I'm not a fan of the 3rd and long arm punt like a lot of the analytics people are from like an EPA perspective, because I think you're putting the return into the hands of your offense, basically.
Yes.
So if you do throw a heave to a free safety, say, you're giving the free safety, sometimes they catch it, they go to the ground, and it's a 0-yard return. But you're just giving them a free run without a coverage team.
Right.
The reason why you punt is because you have a punter who could put it where he wants, theoretically, and a punt return coverage team. Granted, they have their punt returner out there as well, but at the same time, you don't have control over the return.
Right. People act like a catch at the point the ball arrives is the only outcome of an arm punt. But you're completely forgetting the idea of a return off the back end of that, which changes things significantly. This play in particular, everything else is on the right side of the field. Like he's gone to the ISO side to the left where it's one-on-one down the sideline. The safety's coming over as well. If that gets picked off, there's literally nobody from Buffalo on the left side of the hash marks for the rest of the field. Like if he can get a run down that sideline, okay, I'm sure they can, like the angle and they can close that off. But not before he gets 50 yards further downfield, which is a bad punt.
Right. So, look, it didn't affect him. The week 1 arm punts by Josh Allen were also like you were passing up open receivers or open runs in order to throw the ball into double coverage. So I tweeted yesterday, the Bills are still elite as long as Josh Allen isn't arm punting. I believe that. I mean, their defense has given up, 26 points in 3 games, whatever I sent out there yesterday. Remember, Sean McDermott took over the play calling this year. We'll see if that is a reason why they're playing so well. But great games for AJ Epinesa, who I said had the pick 6. Terrell Bernard at linebacker, Micah Hyde, Daquan Jones, Tre'Davious White had a beautiful interception in the end zone. That was a big one as the Commanders were driving, and Sam Howell, he was kind of under pressure on that one, tries to force it. Bills playing great team defense in this one. Mm-hmm. And for the Commanders, it was a rough one. Kind of brought them back down to earth after a 2-0 start, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, this was, I think, the worst version of what you can expect from Sam Howell. Like, it was all of his bad traits manifest and compounded together. It was just catastrophic. I mean, they basically got nothing, literally nothing for the entire game until the late field goal.